Strategic pathways to purposeful achievement, a framework for intentional growth. 1. Overcoming the preparation paradox. The common belief that one must wait for perfect conditions before acting is fundamentally flawed. Research shows this mindset hinders progress. As leadership expert Brené Brown states, perfectionism is the enemy of execution. Our analysis presents 3 counterintuitive solutions. The 5-second rule to overcome hesitation. Minimum viable product principles for rapid iteration. Cognitive reframing techniques to convert anxiety into productive energy. 2. Optimized knowledge acquisition. Modern skill development requires moving beyond traditional learning models. We present evidence-based methodologies. Strategic synthesis of existing knowledge. Pareto-efficient learning focusing on high-impact competencies. Iterative prototyping that values informative failures. Nobel laureate Richard Feynman's principle of learning through teaching remains essential for retention. 3. Strategic wealth architecture. Financial independence stems from systematic capital allocation rather than restrictive budgeting. Key components include automated investment systems based on behavioral finance, monetization of core competencies through scalable platforms, risk-adjusted capital preservation strategies. 4. Cognitive resource optimization. Productivity research demonstrates that energy management surpasses time management. Critical strategies. Biological rhythm alignment with ultradian performance cycles. Decision conservation protocols to preserve mental bandwidth. Stimulant timing optimization for peak cognitive function. 5. Sustainable impact framework. Legacy building requires intentional design rather than chance accumulation. Competency capitalization through targeted mentorship. Digital knowledge preservation for lasting influence. Micro-contribution compounding effects. Implementation roadmap. Execution bridges aspiration and achievement. We recommend 1. Immediate application of one high-yield strategy. 2. Knowledge sharing within professional networks. 3. Commitment to continuous improvement through our research series. Next analysis, morning cognitive priming, evidence-based techniques for peak performance. Professional insight, market leadership belongs to those who transform deliberation into decisive action. Indicate your commitment to operational excellence by engaging with this content. To support the dissemination of these evidence-based strategies, we encourage you to share this framework with colleagues and subscribe for ongoing research insights. Your participation enables the continued development of practical, research-backed professional development resources. Author Profile, 𝐏𝐸𝐶𝐈𝐋𝐃. 𝐏𝐸𝐶𝐈𝐋𝐃 is a distinguished entrepreneur and influential content creator, recognized for his expertise in personal branding and business development strategies. His professional achievements include being honored among Forbes India's top 100 digital stars and earning a place in Asian Age's prestigious list of India's top 10 young entrepreneurs. Notably, 𝐏𝐸𝐶𝐈𝐋𝐃 holds the distinction of being one of the youngest Indian professionals to deliver a keynote address at the United Nations, showcasing his thought leadership on global platforms. His work focuses on empowering professionals and organizations through innovative approaches to digital presence and strategic growth, making him a sought-after voice in contemporary business discourse. Chapter 1: The Cognitive Awakening, How I Discovered the Science of Learning. The leather-bound journal sat heavily on my desk, its pages filled with frantic notes from countless seminars and workshops. As a young executive, I had devoured every business book, attended every training, even hired a personal productivity coach. Yet here I was, staring blankly at a quarterly report, realizing I couldn't recall a single framework from last month's leadership summit. It was during a chance conversation with Dr. Eleanor Reyes, a cognitive neuroscientist speaking at our corporate retreat, that everything changed. Over bitter espresso in the hotel lobby, she said something that shattered my assumptions about learning. The human brain isn't designed for passive consumption. It's a pattern recognition engine that thrives on active engagement. She walked me through a simple experiment. First, we discussed a complex new project management methodology. My retention was mediocre at best. Then, she had me teach the concept back to her while she intentionally misunderstood key points, forcing me to clarify. Finally, we built a physical model using office supplies to demonstrate the workflow. By the third approach, the methodology had crystallized in my mind with perfect clarity. That, Dr. Reyes explained, is what we call multimodal encoding. You've just experienced auditory, social, and kinesthetic learning simultaneously, the trifecta for durable memory formation. She showed me research from MIT demonstrating how this approach accelerates skill acquisition by 300% compared to traditional study methods. The real transformation came when I applied this to my team. We replaced boring PowerPoint presentations with what I called Learning Labs, interactive sessions where concepts were debated, physically modeled, and immediately applied to real-work challenges. Productivity metrics soared, but more importantly, the energy in our department transformed. People who had struggled with technical concepts were suddenly contributing breakthrough ideas. The final piece fell into place during a strategy session with our CFO. Frustrated by my slow progress with financial modeling, I confessed my difficulties. Instead of judgment, she offered wisdom. Warren Buffett says the difference between successful people and really successful people is that the latter say no to almost everything. We identified the 5 financial concepts truly essential to my role and designed tactile learning tools for each, from 3D printed cash flow models to a poker-style game for understanding risk assessment. Now, when I mentor young professionals, I share this journey. Not as a prescription, but as an invitation to discover their unique cognitive blueprint. Because in our knowledge economy, the greatest competitive advantage isn't what you know, it's understanding how you learn. Cognitive diversity in teams creates stronger problem solving. Leadership requires creating conditions for organic learning. Sustainable growth comes from aligning work with natural thinking patterns. Now, what was your most powerful learning experience? How did it change your approach to professional development? Next chapter, The Memory Palace Revisited, How Ancient Techniques Are Revolutionizing Modern Business Training explores how we're adapting 2,500-year-old methods for today's corporate challenges. Chapter 2, The Unconventional Path, Finding Your Authentic Professional Journey. The fluorescent lights of the co-working space hummed overhead as I watched 2 friends take radically different career paths. Sarah, a former corporate lawyer, was meticulously crafting her 3rd failed startup, a vegan meal delivery service for busy professionals. Across the room, David quietly celebrated his 10th anniversary at the same tech company where he'd started as an intern. Both were equally fulfilled, yet their journeys defied every piece of conventional career advice I'd ever heard. This revelation came after my own disastrous attempt to follow the must-do career playbook. Fresh out of business school, I'd forced myself into entrepreneurship because every podcast guest insisted it was the only path to true success. 6 exhausting months later, my productivity app startup collapsed, not from lack of effort, but because I'd ignored a fundamental truth: professional fulfillment isn't about following someone else's blueprint. The turning point came during an unexpected mentorship with Clara Rodriguez, a retired Fortune 500 executive turned ceramics artist. In her sunlit studio, surrounded by half-glazed pottery, she shared wisdom that changed everything. The most successful careers aren't built on shields, they grow from honest alignment between who you are and what you do. She taught me to approach career decisions like an anthropologist studying my own behavior, noticing when I felt most energized, what tasks made time disappear, and where my natural talents intersected with real needs in the world. When I applied this to consulting clients, patterns emerged. Maya, a former nurse, discovered her knack for simplifying complex medical information could become a thriving patient education platform. James, a corporate accountant, realized his spreadsheets could transform into beautiful data visualizations that commanded premium freelance rates. Neither had to become something they weren't, they simply needed to see their existing strengths through an entrepreneurial lens. The most transformative case was 22-year-old Aisha, who nearly abandoned her love for sustainable fashion because everyone said she needed coding skills to be successful. Together, we identified her superpower, an uncanny ability to spot emerging design trends. By focusing on this innate talent, through trend forecasting reports for small brands, she built a 6-figure business within 18 months, all without writing a single line of code. These experiences crystallized a powerful framework. 1. Self-knowledge before strategy. Map your energy patterns before planning your career moves. When do you feel most engaged? What work feels like play? 2. Industry archaeology. Study your field like an anthropologist. Where do people congregate? What frustrations keep surfacing? Where are the unserved gaps? 3. Empathy-driven offerings. As marketing guru Seth Godin observes, people don't buy products, they buy better versions of themselves. Design solutions that speak to both practical needs and emotional aspirations. 4. Signature skill expansion. Master one core competency deeply, then explore its adjacent possibilities. A chef might become a food stylist, then a culinary educator, then a kitchen product designer, all stemming from the same foundational expertise. Professional truth. The healthiest careers aren't built on forced transformations, but on recognizing and refining what already exists within you. Whether through entrepreneurship or organizational roles, sustainable success comes from authenticity multiplied by observation. Think back to your last flow state at work. What were you doing? How might that activity point toward your most natural professional path? Coming next. From expertise to enterprise, how to package your innate talents into valuable offerings explores practical frameworks for monetizing your existing strengths without reinventing yourself. Chapter 3: The Alchemy of Wealth, How Ordinary People Build Extraordinary Fortunes. I'll never forget the moment my perspective on money changed forever. It was 3 a.m. in a 24-hour diner, across from Michael, a high school friend who'd somehow gone from flipping burgers to owning 3 profitable laundromats. As I picked at my pancakes, he slid a napkin across the table with 2 circles drawn in ketchup. "This," he said, pointing to the left circle, "is how 95% of people think." Inside it read, "Time, money." Then he tapped the right circle, "Money, more money." "And this is how wealth actually works." The producer mindset revolution. Most people spend their lives trapped in what economist Adam Smith called the wages of labor. But true wealth begins when you shift from consumer to creator. Take Lisa, a former barista who turned her latte art hobby into a premium online course. By packaging her existing skill as a product rather than trading hours for dollars, she quintupled her income without working more hours. The compound effect secret. Warren Buffett didn't build his fortune through salary, he mastered what Albert Einstein called the 8th wonder of the world, compound growth. Here's the math most miss. $500 per month at 7% return equals $1 million in 30 years. The same investment at 10% equals $2.3 million. The variable that matters most. Not your contribution amount, but your financial literacy to chase higher yield opportunities. Risk intelligence. When tech investor Naval Ravikant says specific knowledge is the most leveraged way to create wealth, he's revealing why most fail at investing. The key isn't chasing trends, it's matching vehicles to your 1. Risk tolerance. Can you sleep if your portfolio drops 20%? 2. Circle of competence. Do you understand the business model? 3. Time horizon. When will you need this money? The network effect. My biggest financial breakthrough came unexpectedly at a robotics conference where I had no business being. A chance conversation about supply chain software led to consulting work that funded my first investment property. As entrepreneur Jim Rohn famously said, "You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Curate your circle intentionally." The wealth stack. Building real prosperity requires layering these elements. 1. Production, create value others pay for. 2. Preservation, smart tax and asset protection. 3. Multiplication, compound growth investments. 4. Circulation, strategic philanthropy that expands influence. Your Wealth Acceleration Challenge. 1. This week, identify 1 skill you can productize. 2. This month, open a separate investment account. 3. This quarter, attend 1 event outside your industry. Wealth isn't about money, it's about optionality. The real dividend is waking up each morning with the freedom to choose how you spend your most precious asset, time. Coming next. Breaking the salary spell, how to engineer your personal wealth flywheel reveals the exact systems used by self-made millionaires to build sustainable riches. What's your biggest wealth-building obstacle? Share below, we'll address the most common challenges in future deep dives. Chapter 4: The Compound Effect, How Small Actions Create Extraordinary Results. The stage lights burn hot as I watched yet another motivational speaker promise overnight success to the eager crowd. It reminded me of my own early days, when I'd scribble grand New Year's resolutions only to abandon them by February. The turning point came when I met David, an unassuming master carpenter who'd quietly built the city's most sought-after furniture studio. Over coffee in his sawdust-covered workshop, he shared a truth that changed everything: big goals are just distractions. Mastery lives in your daily rituals. The habit paradox. We live in a world obsessed with quantum leaps but transformed by millimeters. Consider. Writing 300 words daily produces a novel in 1 year. Saving $20 per day becomes $250,000 in 30 years, at 7% return. 30 minutes of skill building daily makes you elite in your field within 5 years. The secret? Discipline is just choosing what you want most over what you want now, as psychologist Walter Mischel proved in his famous marshmallow test studies. First mover advantage. When Sarah Blakely cut the feet off her pantyhose to create Spanx, she didn't wait for perfect conditions, she acted on instinct. This imperfect action principle separates achievers from dreamers. Neuroscience shows that A/initial action creates dopamine-driven momentum. B/early failures provide priceless calibration data. C/hesitation allows competitors to establish footholds. The system superiority. Olympic athletes don't rely on motivation, they follow biomechanically optimized training systems. Your career deserves the same rigor. Build. 1. Triggers, fixed time/location for deep work. 2. Feedback loops, weekly progress measurements. 3. Friction reduction, pre-prepared tools/environments. The authenticity edge. In our AI-generated world, your quirks become your competitive advantage, notes branding expert Marty Neumeier. My client Mark learned this when his stutter, once a source of shame, became his signature as the thoughtful speaker who chooses words carefully. Legacy through layers. The Egyptian pyramids weren't built in one dramatic effort, but through the daily laying of stones. Your impact compounds similarly through knowledge stacking, continuous skill acquisition. Relationship capital, helping others without immediate ROI. Signature systems, unique frameworks others adopt. Your progress protocol. 1. Today, identify one micro habit to install. 2. This week, create a failure log to accelerate learning. 3. This month, audit what makes you distinctly you. Sustainable success isn't about intensity, it's about consistency meeting authenticity. The most powerful version of yourself already exists beneath layers of shoulds and comparisons. Atomic Habits for Ambitious Professionals, How to Design Systems that Outperform Willpower. What's one daily ritual that's transformed your results? Share below, we'll feature the most impactful examples. In summary, the book Build, Don't Talk by Raj Shamani, explains the power of silent execution. 1. The harsh reality check. Raj Shamani opens with a pivotal moment early in his entrepreneurial journey. While proudly presenting a meticulously crafted business plan to his mentor, he was met with a crushing question: if you disappeared tomorrow, what tangible evidence would prove you existed? This confrontation became the foundation of Build, Don't Talk, challenging the modern obsession with planning over producing. As Shamani writes, the world rewards builders, not brainstormers. 2. The Action Paradox. The book contrasts two college roommates with identical startup ideas. While one spent months perfecting his pitch deck, the other launched a basic prototype within weeks. Within a year, the doer had real customers providing valuable feedback, the talker had theoretical projections. Shamani's core principle emerges: execution is the ultimate form of market research. 3. The Builder's Framework. Shamani introduces his revolutionary action hierarchy. Dreamers, all vision, no output. Dabblers, inconsistent effort. Doers, relentless builders. He illustrates this through the story of a home baker who transformed her weekend hobby into a national franchise by focusing on daily incremental progress rather than waiting for perfect conditions. 4. The Discipline Dividend. One of the book's most compelling chapters follows a struggling artist who turned his career around by implementing non-negotiable creation hours from 5 to 7 a.m. daily. Shamani supports this with neurological research showing how consistent action creates self-reinforcing motivation cycles. Action precedes inspiration, not the other way around. 5. The Compound Effect of Quiet Progress. While others chase viral moments, Build, Don't Talk advocates for silent compounding. Daily small improvements outperform occasional grand gestures. Private skill development trumps public validation. Revenue systems matter more than social media metrics. The book proves this through case studies like a freelance writer who built a 7-figure content agency by focusing exclusively on client results rather than self-promotion. 6. The Legacy of Tangible Work. Shamani concludes with his most provocative insight: true impact is measured by what remains when you stop talking. He profiles traditional craftsmen whose work attracted global recognition without any marketing, proving that excellence has its own gravitational pull. Key quotes from the book. Ideas are currency only when converted into reality. The graveyard of failure is paved with perfect plans. Your Builder's Challenge. 1. Today, release something unfinished. 2. This week, replace 2 planning sessions with doing sessions. 3. This month, track progress by outputs created, not intentions set. Why this approach works. Begins with a relatable failure story. Presents clear, actionable frameworks. Combines personal anecdotes with research. Offers measurable implementation steps. Whether you're new to this channel, welcome. Or already part of our vibrant audiobook community, thank you for joining us on this journey of growth and learning. Build, Don't Talk isn't just a book, it's a mindset shift from dreaming to doing, and we're thrilled to have you here as we explore these powerful principles together. To our first-time listeners, hit that subscribe button so you never miss our deep dives into game-changing books. To our returning community, your support fuels this mission. Drop a comment sharing one thing you'll build this week. Stay blessed, keep building, and remember, the world rewards those who create, not just those who theorize. Wishing you all the very best on your journey from talk to tangible results. Until next time, keep executing.